Okay, builders, today I'm going to go over some differences and details between the Denix MGC, a real pre-war commercial, and my replica. Field Marshal here with Blaster Factory, and I'm going to do this down and dirty video because a reoccurring question I get almost every single day is what's the difference between the Denix and my replica. Okay, now I'm not going to go over everything. There's a lot to this, but I'm going to do this video just to kind of get you in the ballpark so you kind of know what you're doing and know what level of prop you want to build. So first of all, starting off here, you can see I've got a Denix, which these usually run about, I don't know, what, $100, $110 depending on where you buy them. Mgc, which, sorry guys, I've got 3 or 4 MGCs. They're all in pieces all over the place from me making parts for them and stuff over the years. But that's actually a replica that was made years ago. They're actually not in production anymore. A real pre-war C96 broom handle Mauser, which that's the base gun for the DL-44s, the heroes starting in the original series, and then my laser scanned replica, which I make this in steel and in aluminum. So I'm just going to go over some details to be looking for, so you know the difference. Because one of the main things is the cost. You've got $100. Finding an MGC is rare. They're super rare now, and anybody that I know that has one's going to want $700 to $1,000 for them now. So that's not a cheap. It's not an easy find or a cheap find. Now, if you were going to make a live fire DL-44 and you actually find yourself a pre-war Mauser, you're going to spend $4,000 to $8,000 on this. This is a real firearm, so that's kind of a big investment. My replicas start out $600 to $800, depending on steel or aluminum and what other greeblies and accessories you get. So there you have it. You got that part of it. Okay, first thing let's talk about is the details and scaling. Okay, now first of all, so about the grips. Walnut grips on the real one. Got the small lines. MGC, they actually attempt to do that. Not bad. It's plastic. And the Denix, they actually do it. They don't quite get the shape right because their grip's actually not shaped correct. It's a little fatter, not quite as wide too. You can see the difference in thickness. So I'm not doing this video just to bash the Denix. It's it's kind of a good thing. I mean, it enables us to build a kind of an economy or a more affordable DL-44, and it's been the only thing there is, so for that, what it lacks in detail, I guess it makes up in price. But no, I actually reproduced the grips that I have for my replica, and I actually cut them out of real walnut, so you can stain them up and get them dirty, and they'll look just like this old one here. So that's one of the first things you'll see, the difference between these. The next thing, and we'll do an overhead pass here, but look at the trigger shapes. Okay, now the Denix is probably it's not even close. It's pretty fat, thick, shorter, wrong radiuses, lightness, but it's okay. Keep in mind $100, $4,000. But no, the MGC, it does a little better, not much better. It's got 2 pieces in here. It's the only saving grace for the MGC is that it's actually in the movies. It's that Greedo, Killer, Hoth, several other blasters were actually used, in the movie. So this is actually screen accurate for those. And then, of course, my replica, which is a, direct copy of the real trigger. So it's shaped radius, everything. So it's going to be, you know, more like the pre-war. Okay. Next thing I'd point out, especially, you know, in the cost differences, is that these two here are cast. Both of them look to be like Zamac castings, and painted or whatever they do. The MGC has got the cutouts a little better shaped. They're a little deeper than the real firearm, but they're still a little better shaped. And they actually have a removable magwell, just like on the real one and just like on mine. The Denix, the pockets here, they're wrong. And you see a lot of people when they accurize these, they go in there and reshape these to try to make them, you know, look a little better. And the magwell is, of course, not there. It's a solid piece. There's a little line here to simulate it. And another note too that I captured in the replica, and you'll see in the overhead, there's the tooling marks. You can see the swirls and from the actual manufacturing of the real one. You know, I've actually captured a lot of that in the replica too. So I get asked about that a lot, wondering if they should sand that out. That's up to you, but it's actually, you know, that stuff's actually in a real Mauser. Okay, moving on. Let's see here. Well, the shapes on the slide here, you can tell, are a lot different. MGC does a pretty decent job of capturing it, getting the angles right on the breech area. Of course, you know, it's a little looser on the details here for the Denix, and they're also pinning it together and screwing it in the front, which, you know, the real Mauser, which I'm not going to take this apart, but I'll go over this. They come apart just like the real one. Little tab flips up here in the back. Well, it come apart pretty easy there, and you can pull all this out. My replica does the same thing. That way you've got your real trigger mech back here. Now, I didn't do some of the details obviously in the replica because it's not a real firearm, but the MGC actually went through it, and they actually have the little insert piece too. So you've got your little tabs in the back that are correct. Kind of comes apart just like the real Mauser does. And of course, you know, the Denix doesn't do any of that. It's just a solid chunk back here. They've got the little bosses in the back here, but they're not, you know, they don't come apart that way. Next thing is the safeties. And while we're on this side of it, if you'll notice the safety shapes, oh, wait a minute. I have my Mgc Safety in my pocket here. Here we go. There's one of them. The other one here, walking around with parts. Too much junk in the pockets. Where'd you go? There it is. It's nothing like losing that. Okay, you can see this shape too. Now on mine, I got the knurling right and the shape of it, so outwardly it looks exactly the same as the real one. MGC, they did make one. It's shaped correct. The knurling's incorrect, but it's still closer than what the Denix did. The Denix is kind of got a big taper on it. It's probably for the mold release, but you know, it's not movable. It's actually, you know, it's a part of the casting. So, okay, I guess we kind of went through that. Next, let's talk about the top here. Go to the top of these. Everything flying apart here. Let's look at the sights. And there's a close-up of this, but you can tell that the Denix, this is non-functional. It does go up and down, but the slide does not work. There's no knurling on the side. The shape's wrong. The numbers are wrong. MGC did a lot better job. It's actually functional. It's a little big, but it's still a lot nicer looking. And there again, it's still screen accurate for a lot of the blasters. And then, of course, you know, you get over here in the real one than mine, which I actually copied the real one, so it's going to be exact. And let's see. Oh, bolt. Now the bolt on the Denix has no detail. The knurling's not correct. It's kind of a likeness. The MGC, now I've got the extractor out of this one, but it does have the extractor piece on top just like the real one and mine does. So they did a pretty decent job of copying that. Even the knurling's not too bad on the side of it. Let's see here. That. And the other side. Now most of the detail you'll see in the overhead pass. We've got the Waffen Fabrik logo, and even the MGC has it. Now, of course, you know, the Denix don't have any of that stuff, and the pockets are incorrect again, you know, for all of these. But, you know, there are people that do go around and correct that, do some after machining. I used to. I don't do that model anymore because I started doing the other replica. But same deal. You've got the pin. This bolt stop here, you know, it's the wrong shape from the real one. You know, it is what it is. You know, it's a cheap replica, but you know, I just wanted to lay those out so everybody could see the difference. You know how, you know, the Denix has got a long way to go really to be like an MGC or to be like the real C96 broom handle, and you know, even the MGC comes apart. We'll see if this one will do it real quick. It's a lot heavier springs. Do on this one. You pull out the trigger group and the slide comes off, which, you know, obviously the real one does that too. So, you know, there again, this down and dirty video showing you some quick details. There's a lot of other little nuances that each one of these have, you know, and they're all basically trying to copy this guy right here. So, you know, you keep that in mind. You got, you know, super rare Mgc here, cost you $700 to $1,000, $100, or you know, $600 to $800, you know. So, you know, you can, from there you can do what you want with it. So, hey, thanks for joining me. Till next time.